What's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of That Boy ETV. You already know, man, we are back on Marvel Rivals, and we know we got the news that we are soon to get a new game mode tomorrow on the 21st. So I do want to speak on that and even have the trailer play for you guys in case you have not seen it. Well, it'll at least be in the background. But the first thing I want to talk about real quick before we get into Resource Rumble is I was watching the replay back of the Marvel Rivals Ignite Championship or tournament, and I was thinking to myself, you know, when it comes to, since banning is now starting in gold, I think that the way the ban system is now online should remain the same from gold to platinum, right? Now, since diamond is the beginning or the low end of high elo, once you hit diamond, I feel like they should implement the same pick and ban system that the pros have, where essentially you pick and ban players out, except for the you just pick and ban characters that the other team can't use. This way, and I think it's around 4 bans and you get 2 saves, right? So your team will go ahead and pick 2 people they want to save, and then you pick 4 people to ban from the other team. Or I think you could ban all 5 people if you want to save anybody, but, you know, it is what it is. But I want to know, how do y'all feel about that? Do y'all think that they should implement the tournament style of banning once you hit diamond and above, and then leave the current ban system the way that it is for gold and platinum, man? Let me know how y'all feel about that down in them comments, man. But let's get into the real thing while we're here. Tomorrow we are getting our update, but even more exciting is the fact that we're getting a new mode. Now, here in the background, I will go ahead and have it playing for you guys, the trailer, but I will go ahead and just explain to y'all what's going on, man. So the new game mode that's coming in is going to be called Resource Rumble. And in this game mode, players are going to compete to control 3 points, siphon resources, and ultimately steal from the enemy team during the Rumble phase. The first team to reach the target score by accumulating enough resources will win the match, right? So this is basically how it goes, right? When you come in, you're going to have 3 points, as you can see on the screen, and at random, it'll be like A, B, and C. And then at random, one of these points will initiate. Right, 3 resources. This is and they're randomly selected at the start of the match. So the game mode features 3 points on the map, which would be A, B, and C, and then they're randomly selected to start it off. And your team has to run to each one of these points. Right now, the teams will fight to control these points and extract resources from them. But each point has a limited amount of resources that can be depleted. So essentially, when you run up to, let's say A is the first point to become available, there will only be a set amount of resources. So let's say it's 200. The teams will fight for control, and whatever team takes control will eat away at that 200 points until that 200 points is depleted. So if, let's say 50-50, each team could walk away possibly with 100 points each, or one person walk away with all the points. And then once you do that, you move on to the next pillar, and then you will also, once that point is depleted, the game will progress to the next stage where teams fight over a next resource point. So the first 2 points, A and B, will be the same type of thing. You're going to have to fight over the point and take as much as the amount of resources that are available and get that for your team. Then you go into what's called the Rumble phase. And this is the final stage, which involves a Rumble phase where both teams are a starting pool for resources and must fight to steal the resources from the opposing team in the designated area. So the way that this works is once you have completed point A has been depleted and point B has been depleted, point C will become active. Once point C is active, the teams will have to fight and steal resources from each other. So whoever owns the point at that time will then start eating away at the other team's points until one team reaches the goal. Now, the thing that it doesn't actually say in here is the fact of what happens if one team is able to deplete like the first 2 points completely, does it just go straight into overtime? Because at the top, as you can see during the trailer, they had a score limit for each team. So I'm not sure how many points they're giving out per point yet, because we haven't had the game, so I'm not sure how many points, but it looked like it was around 200 something if you was paying attention to the trailer in that background. But I want to know, it would be interesting to know if your team's able to capture both A and the first 2 points completely, is the final phase 100% the other team just trying to steal from you, in which they're just straight on an overtime meter? Because it does show that once you deplete the team initially, like let's say both teams have points and then one team gets all their resources taken, you do go into an overtime in that case. So we know that exists. But if you go into the third phase and only one team has collected resources, does the third phase automatically start as an overtime phase? Is the game already over? Like, how does that work? They don't actually really explain that. But my guess would be if you're able to get both the first 2 points and deplete those completely as one team, I'm assuming that when the final phase opens up, that team should be in overtime because the other team already has all the points. So we'll just have to see. Now, as far as, do I think this game mode will be fun? Will it be interesting? We'll have to see, because it does kind of feel like we're just basically playing domination with a little bit of extra steps. But we'll have to see just how this plays out, because it will take a little bit of strategy, I assume. Well, the initial strategy is just like domination, to hold the points and capture as many points as possible. And it's similar to domination as far as, like, you put up the scores if you have it, as well as if you're in control of the point, you'll be gaining resources. So the first 2 points to me kind of seem just like domination. And I mean, it was probably all 3 points really, because all of them are just fight for a point and either gain or take resources. So maybe, again, it just feels like it's probably domination just with extra steps, or it's domination where the point actually moves around the map. So you're forced to move, unlike the domination that we currently have. But for the most part, the way the game is played, it seems as though we're playing domination just with a few extra steps, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm excited for the fact that they are bringing in a whole new mode. There's even talks of them eventually bringing this mode over to competitive. So we just have to see. Again, it would be cool to break up the monotony of just regular domination followed up by a convoy map. Having a third game mode would be cool. The more game modes we have, the better, man. Can't complain about that. No gripes here. And I'm pretty sure throughout the community, no one is mad about us getting a new game mode. But it does seem a little weird that it feels like we're basically still just playing domination. So maybe we can, I don't know. I'd have to wait and actually pick up the game tomorrow when it comes out and play the game mode and just see exactly how it plays. And I hope and pray that it really does feel a lot different than the typical domination that we've been playing, because the way that it's described and how we play it is basically just go to this point, capture it, move to the next point, capture it, move to the last point, capture and hold that until basically the other team runs out of points. Instead of you gaining points in domination, you're essentially taking points in resource rumble. Now, I was trying to look to see if, as you gain resources, does the resource like give your team extra boost or like little perks or something? Like if you're able to get a certain amount of resources, maybe get like a team boost or something. It doesn't seem like that's a thing, or there's anything like that in regards to it. So I think the resource that they're referring to is strictly just the player. I mean, not the player count. It's simply the score at the top. Who can just, have the highest score, stealing the amount of points available. But I do think it would have been cool if the resources themselves actually gave you like a little boost or gave you something. Now, I know that would have made it more of like a party mode, but again, I think it just would have been fun. So let me know, man, how do y'all feel about the rank system that we have, and that the idea of from diamond up, we should go ahead and use the pro style of band system where you have 5 picks, 5 bands / shaves, or should we just go ahead and leave it the way it is And let me know down in the comments, are y'all excited for the new mode? And if you haven't seen the trailer and you want to hear it in all its glory, because I know I just had it here in the background, I will leave a link down for it down in the description for you guys. But until then, I'm going to leave y'all off with the rest of this gameplay here in the background. And I hope y'all enjoy that, man. But as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter, and catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at DatBoy ETV. Now, catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.
Jesus Christ. Come on, man. Oh my God.
3, 2.